CoSensei. CoSensei is a DBMO DAPCO. For those of you who don't remember DBMO or too young or whatever, it's a design, build, maintain, operate. It's a classic engineering firm. We're trying to do some social engineering. We're trying to apply distributed app technology, blockchain technology. We're looking at building a decisioning engine on the blockchain. So kind of like what they're doing at the core level of Ethereum and others, where you're having to go and do it by automation and proof of work, now proof of stake. We're trying to take that all and layer right on top of it to the RFP process, the request for proposal process. I'm a scientist by training. I'm a geneticist, and I've done a lot of drug development and done a lot of RFPs and grant applications and seen a lot of them go sideways. The RFP process, the decisioning process, I think is flawed, and I've gotten sick of it. So about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I asked my board of directors if I could work for another company, because that's what my contract said, because that's what I wrote in my contract. And they said, sure, but you gotta have a pay cut. Oh, shit. I said, okay to that, but you're crazy because you just made me president again. Second time on that position. And I said 20% pay cut, and I'm working for another company a little bit. Okay, I just founded another company. So CoSensei started. And I co-located it 2 floors up from the other biotech company, and did that for the last year and a half. I've been funding it myself, and I've had a lot of challenges. Seeing the landscape change on Ethereum. We're a BizSpark partner. We are currently in private beta, and our decisioning engine is Earnestly. And we think that once we get Earnestly perfected, quote unquote, then we will have a lot of applications for it. Earnestly can be applied to RFPs. Again, I see everything as a request for proposal. And you're either looking to solve a problem, or you're looking to take advantage of an opportunity, or you're looking for some hybrid of that. That to me is an RFP. So a request for proposal. What happens there? Admin sets up a request. Responders respond. Except a lot of times the responders don't respond because they already know that you're going to give it to your uncle. So you don't get the best pool of responders a lot of times. That's not going to happen with this. Everybody on your responder list gets all the same information at the same time. I think that's critical. And everybody, when they respond, if they respond in time, meet all the criteria, nobody gets to filter that. It goes straight into the decider pool. Soft contract triggers. Yes, you have 15 documents uploaded. Yes, they're all under this size. That's something that we can do for HR departments, your record of decisioning, for procurement departments. What are we going to buy? What's the next engine we want to put on this Boeing plane? The governance, that's one of my soft points. That's touchy. Corporate governance, if you're on boards or founders or whatnot, it can get sketchy sometimes. And, God, if that were on the blockchain and all the shareholders could see what's happening, it would be super helpful. So those are big points that I want to go after. Early applications for the .coms, for the .govs. My wife works for EPA. She's constantly doing these records of decision. They take like 10 years. And then they have massive amounts of software for decision management. But they don't have decisioning software. They don't have anything that drives it to conclusion. So the Earnestly DApp sets up a schedule so you can predict when you're going to have the decision come out. So if you're looking at the next Boeing plane to be built, for instance, or you're in the EPA and you want to know, okay, when are we going to have the rod on this so that we can start building the freeway over it after they're done, we can predict it. Earnestly will set out the timelines. That is part of it. And there's one thing that I just hate is when we have people who are super smart and know really important things, but they don't come in until the last day and drop a data bomb. You can't just walk away from those data bombs. But hopefully we can get those people to change how they behave by saying, okay, well, the rules here is if you didn't participate in round 1 and round 2 and round 3 of down select, you don't get a voice in round 4 or whatever the admin sets up. And we're making it flexible. It'll basically be an operating system for an RFP. If you want to make it so the CEO gets 500 votes and everybody else gets 1, CEO can override anything, go ahead. We don't care. But make it transparent. Make it clear to everybody that, the CEO just overrode everything, and she was right. And she was right again. And she was right a 5th time, and then the board can look around and say, shit, we just need the CEO. and maybe save some money. I mean, it's possible. We don't want to prevent that possible, but we want to learn from it. .org, same thing. Governance, fundraising, financials. The RFP process is ubiquitous. And quite honestly, I want to teach people what is the RFP process, how to set up a null hypothesis, how to refute the null hypothesis. There's a lot of younger people in the marketplace today that don't really get that. They're not trained on it. It takes years and years. Sometimes they don't get it till their 40s till they're versatile in it. We're looking at a marketing campaign that teaches all of that. So, we find that people really don't take into account the value of their people. We want people to feel that their opinions matter, that their opinions are heard. If we can put that on the blockchain. Imagine you have multiple rounds of down select. You're not in something like Slack where you've got a bunch of chit-chat going on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then somebody drops a data bomb, boom, and it's the day before your decision, and now you got to reset. Everybody's pulling their hair out. No, we see multiple rounds of down select, and we want to use Microsoft's models. We're BizSpark partners. It's kind of an all Microsoft play. If Ethereum can get their stuff together and get Ethereum 2.0 going this year. And we want to make sure that your record of decisioning becomes part of your record. So when you leave the company, we can see at least top line, what were you involved in? What decisions, what size, what magnitude? So if you get terminated for some dumb reason, questions? Oh, yep. Ask 4 questions now. I'm at 2 minutes, 25 seconds. All right, I'll do that. So CoSensei, we're private beta now. We'll be coming out soon with our public beta, and I invite questions from the audience. You're all shocked. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. I hear it sounds really interesting, and I think you're really far ahead of a lot of things. I'm hearing a lot of frustration though with people I'm picking up about Ethereum and about the scaling development.
Right. Yeah.
What takes you to decide to move past Ethereum to the third generation?
Some level of confidence that the model that we think is going to work. I mean, I proposed to my team over a year ago, hey, we got to sidechain this stuff. Now sidechain is becoming de rigueur. And the way we're setting up our decisions, each decision is becoming compartmentalized. So making sure that if we set up a Docker for each decision, that'll still sort of work, because we've invested a lot of time and money in sort of getting those soft contracts to work within a Docker, and then have the Dockers interconnect. I am, yep. Yeah, yeah. No, I think there's also, not to shut you down, but IOTA sounds, what Siren Labs is doing, because once you start to sidechain, then you have to build your own node network, and Siren Labs is sort of figuring that out, but they're doing it on IOTA. So, any other yes? Right. We're going to go after the companies first because they're the most flexible, and in the same time, start to make those inroads with the governments. My wife is very high up in EPA, and she's like, "Oh God, we need this. Here's grants." And once you get the grant, then you have a chance to start to implement on a small scale, because then you're not really doing anything important. You're just granting around, so experimenting, which I love.